that is the sort of like starry-eyed LA, like, oh my God, I got to be part of that, right? Like, when I moved out there and I had no job, I had no money, my parents were taking care of me. I was getting messages from people here. They're like, oh my God, you made it. You're doing it. You're killing it. You're crushing it. So proud of you. Like, so jealous. Like, all of these things. And I'm sitting over here like, dude, I'm homeless and have no money. Thank God my parents are paying for my meals,
Yeah. Eric, what is up, dude?
How's it going, Chris?
I'm
Good
doing
seeing
good,
you.
man. Long time no talk. It's been about 4 hours since I've seen you.
Yeah, I think 3,
Three?
something like
Yeah.
that. But 4, yeah.
Anytime
Yeah.
I see your car at the coffee shop, man, I gotta walk in and say, "What's up?" You might be playing the piano
Uh,
every now and then, so gotta check it out.
yeah. I always appreciate that. That's why I like hanging out at Swank.
It's such a
Like
cool
work.
coffee shop.
Someone like walks in, like, yeah, the vibe is awesome, and then they're like, oh, what's up, dude? And then all of a sudden, like, I get like energy from seeing people I know.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's fun.
and in
But
a small town, you're bound to see people, on a daily
yeah, it's
basis.
impossible. Yeah, that's the charm. That's the Southern Pines charm, man.
Yeah, and when me and the boys work around the corner, we're always gonna come say what's up.
For sure, like literally a block away.
Yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much
Love
for taking
that.
the time to jump on this with me, man.
Of
I'm
course,
excited
dude.
about this. Your name has been on my list for this for a very long time, which is pretty cool. But
I'm
introduce
honored.
yourself to everybody. Tell everybody who Eric Liffrig is.
Sure. So, well, you know my name. I am a Metaverse Product Manager at a company called Super League Gaming, and I also head up the operations there for the game experiences, game services, so putting on events, stuff like that. Um, went to film school down in Savannah, Georgia, at SCAD, and I was super motivated to like change the world. So obviously, after that, you go to Hollywood, right? So
Yeah.
moved out to the West Coast, right? I'm pretty much immediately after that to go make movies, and somehow stumbled into gaming on accident. Um, and here we are today, like
That is
eight,
crazy.
9 years later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wild. So let's back it up a little bit. We met in what, like Boy Scouts back in the day, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Troop
That was
7, never
like
forget.
Troop 7, 2005,
Like
6.
something like
Had to
that.
have been something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even. Whew. I mean, those were the days, Boy Scouts.
Dude, those were
You
the days.
gotta, you gotta appreciate being thrown out into the middle of nowhere and told like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
No,
It's like
exactly.
raining and 30 degrees, not
Yeah.
quite cold enough to snow.
Yep.
Just like,
Here's some tinfoil.
yeah.
Make a fire and cook a potato in it. Go find the potato
That's right.
too.
It's gonna be awesome. We'll give you a merit badge.
Yeah. Yeah. How hard?
Love it.
How far did you go in Boy Scouts? Did you get Eagle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did get Eagle. Yeah, it's funny actually. My initial project was, do you know Faith Cemetery? There's that next to Flowland. There's that church.
Yeah, Bethesda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bethesda, right? So they own a cemetery further back in Aberdeen, and I don't even know how. I think my dad helped me find it, but they had the cemetery where they didn't know where any of the bodies were. They didn't know what the names were. Like, just totally, just people went in there and like were burying their families. And they had no control. So I went and I basically mapped the whole place out. I, scraped all of the stones, got everyone's name, and I documented everything,
Whoa.
so that they could actually use it professionally. And I remember I went in to like complete the project, and the board, the Scoutmaster board, they're like, cool, like, you did all this by yourself pretty much. And I was like, yeah, it was a lot of work. And they're like, that totally defeats the purpose of your Eagle Scout project. And so like initially I was like annoyed and mad because I just wanted to be done, but they were right. So I think I went out there another like couple of weekends, wrangled a bunch of Boy Scouts to come out and help me like clean it up, actually make
Yeah.
it look nice, and show my leadership skills, which then they improved. So yeah, that was cool. Way back in the day, though.
Dude, yeah, I remember like building picnic tables for people. Like you went off and found something.
Oh, trust me, I did not find that. That was my dad. But yeah,
That's
exactly.
cool though.
You would expect it to be something a little bit more
like Habitat for Humanity type stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And in fact, that's probably the way I should have gone immediately. But whatever, no regrets.
Yeah, well, you changed some, you aligned some history for some people. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, before we get any further in, what are we sipping on? What are we drinking?
Oh, some Cactus Creek. I got some Warriors blend.
Oh,
right
dude,
here.
me too. Okay, that's too
no
cool.
way,
Yeah.
dude. Amazing.
It's
amazing.
It sounds so cool.
That's all Robin. He got me on it. But also Swank. All they do is they serve Cactus Creek, so it's like, I was like, no wonder I like the coffee here. Okay, but like, I don't know. I won't even get into that. But yeah. So thank you, anyways.
It's good.
Providing me with a nice cup of Joe.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I'm excited. I want to have the guy who started Cactus Creek on here at some point. That's one of the people.
Oh, that'd be sick.
To hopefully get on here. That's part of the goal. But just to get cool
on the
people.
list.
Yeah. So you went to SCAD to be a filmmaker. Went out to change the world in Hollywood, and then ended up in gaming. Like, how did that pan out? Like, where did you end up? You were in LA, and then how did you even stumble into the gaming?
So, yeah, in terms of initially, like, my parents are very old school, right? So they had me here or in Savannah still, and I was sending out resumes like, hey, company, hire me. I'm this awesome dude that just spent 5 years in college trying to be artsy and like filmmaking, please let me be part of your production company. And a couple of my friends had already moved out there, and one of them in particular, she was like, dude, what are you doing? That's not how this world works. Like, she's like, you need to move here, and then when you're here, we can get you access to people and you can actually like hop on jobs. Because the reality was, she's like, I go through resumes. At that time, she was helping a director. She was like a director's assistant, actually. And she was going through like 100 resumes, probably a week.
Wow.
She says, if they're not in the state, I literally throw them away. If they're not in LA County, they're just in the trash immediately. And I was like, oh, that was a bit of a wake-up call. Like, okay, I guess that makes sense. I'm not like applying for like an office desk job at, a corporate company. So convinced my parents, to like, send me out there. I have to be out there. And so, I moved out to the West Coast. They supported me for a while because I had no job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And lived on her couch for 3 or 4 months. Straight up, yeah. Or it was really behind the couch on a mattress. But, so like if I had to wake up early the next day and they just wanted to have movie night, like I was also having movie night. But that's how it goes. So, yeah. Anyway, so we got out there like that, and I probably did 3 or 4 jobs for free. Because there are a lot of companies out there that are ready to take advantage of kids fresh out of college, or folks like me, because this is amazing, I don't care, I'll be 2 days on set working 14-hour days, but I might meet someone that's awesome and that opportunity might go to somewhere, right?
Yeah. So what were those?
So I did, there's a company called Nurture Digital, and I edited for them for like 3 or 4 months, like for free.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're like, it's an internship, and there were a couple of smaller film sets, that I don't need to mention the names of, but Nurture Digital was cool. That was like, I was editing like Puma videos or like Nike videos, just like
sweet.
A lot of like marketing stuff, shorts and things like that. And but yeah, there was no pay whatsoever. And then I don't want to say peer, because really he was like, he had graduated a few years earlier. He left SCAD, went to Pixar.
Wow.
And yeah, it was pretty amazing. He was sort of like the trophy, like, oh my gosh, like this dude made it. And all of his films in college were incredible. I mean, this dude, like, if anyone is going to be successful, like this guy is like the future of filmmaking. um, and so he took a, what do you call it, a sabbatical from Pixar to shoot a personal project. Had an opportunity to do visual effects supervision there. Actually, the girl who I moved out there with hooked me up with that gig.
Wow.
Right. Cause she's like, oh, you should hit up Eric. Like, he's out here and, you know, he does visual effects. So I did, that was a 2-week job, no pay. Right.
Jeez.
But they paid for, they housed me and they fed me. Right. And the house was literally like, this was at San Francisco. So I had to drive up to San Francisco from LA, and we lived in this house with like 20 other people from the production, you know. So it was actually pretty cool. You know, we were like this big family by the end of it. And then, you know, on set was just doing VFX supervision stuff, which is, you know, tracking markers, making sure that, hey, X shots are going to be you know, effects shots, so we need to make sure that they're filmed correctly and that things are in the shot that are going to make sure that in post-production we can actually edit them successfully. And then also like HDR images after like we're done with the scene, going through and basically I don't know if you know how that works, but like you take a bunch of photos, you basically rebuild this sphere of the environment with photos.
Wow.
And so what you would then do is, like, let's say we were putting like this mug in that scene later, because it was a VFX shot, this 3D mug, which looks like nothing. We would put those images around that mug, and all of a sudden that mug now has lighting that matches the exact scene that was filmed, right? And so that helps you get like pretty far into, you know, making things look like they belong in the scene. So anyways, those are in the weeds. So anyways, so the producer from that film went down to LA, a small company, and he hit, I think it was like a Facebook post. He's like, hey, I'm working for this small company in Santa Monica. They need someone to grab coffee. And
what?
I was like, yo, and the best part is like just paid, you know, just in case.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah. So I hit him up. I was like, yo, dude, super down. What's up? And he's like, yeah, man, come on down. Like we'll interview. I went down that same day, right? So like think about that, right? Like that's how on point you have to be for those opportunities. Went down that same day and then interviewed for the job. And then afterwards, I thought I crushed it, right? I walked downstairs and he came back out and met me. And he's like, hey, just like as a homie, I just want to be like real with you. Like, you know, he's not really feeling it.
What?
But he wants to give you the job for like a week while he looks for someone else.
Oh my gosh.
So
what?
I was like, dang. And all I'm doing is like getting coffee and stuff. So
wait,
I was like, cool, man.
You had to interview to be the coffee guy.
Yeah, for sure.
What?
Yeah, they interviewed me. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I guess like this kind of, I mean, you know, like they gotta whatever. Like you get a lot of access to stuff when you're a PA like that, because they trust you with all like the BS.
Yeah.
But when you're doing all the BS, like you get access to like a lot, and for whatever reason. But yeah, anyways, obviously like 2 weeks later, they're like, okay, we like you a lot. Like we're gonna put you on staff. There's only like 10 people in the company at the time, right? This is Super League. Didn't even know what they wanted to be yet. You know, Minecraft in movie theaters. And, you know, that was the buzz. And this is before the whole esports explosion, right?
Yeah.
Gaming and all this money. So we kind of like rode that wave from there, you know, and partnered with a bunch of movie theaters. But yeah, anyways, that's how it all started. And now it's, it's been about 8 years since that day, basically. Yeah.
So how'd you make your way into Super League?
Excuse me. Like make my way throughout the company.
Yeah. Wait, you interviewed to be
This was at Super League.
That was Super League.
This was Super League. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It was literally like they were tiny. They didn't even know what they wanted.
dude, what a climb!
Yeah, it's
That's
and
insane.
since Coffee Boy, been there for 8 years, which is
wow.
It's different. It's not normal, I would say. Most people they spend 2 years at a company and then they move on, and there are benefits to that. There's some things that I probably missed out on opportunity wise for staying at the same company for a long time. But we don't need to get into all that, I guess.
Yeah. Dude, that's wild.
But yeah, that's pretty much how it happened, man. Yeah.
So what does your day-to-day look like now?
Day-to-day right now, basically, let's see, split between 2 jobs really. On one side, very like hands-on operations. So flights, travels, producing events for partners. And so, right now we're working with a partner. We're doing a collegiate tour this year. It's a total of 11 or 12 events. So, I was in Tampa last week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is wild because Taylor Swift was also doing a concert, and that made everything really expensive. So that like hotels are like $1,000 a night. It was like, yeah, oh my god, it was terrible. That type of when Taylor Swift goes to town, that everyone makes money. So except for us. But yeah, so and on the 3rd we have another one in New York. And so that's cool. So we'll run the tournament operations, get everything set up, run the event, tear down, ship everything out, and get ready for the next one. And then on the other side of the company, on the Metaverse product side, I'm a product manager, and I manage, I guess, our Minecraft product. So right now we call this Mine Hut, but we're like a network that allows users to come in and create servers and to build communities. And that could be as little or as big as you want. So on the little side, it could be you wanted to play Minecraft over the weekend with the boys, and you started a server, and only they were able to join, and we were like hosting it.
Gotcha.
And there are things that you can do to customize, etc. And then there's also premium models that you can feed into to make your experience better. If you're trying to like host, very hefty server, or you want more players, you can sort of pay to upgrade, things like that.
So
yeah.
Tell everybody how robust this is, though, in terms of like how many people use your platform on a daily basis, or even just total members, because you told me this a few weeks ago and it blew me away.
Total members, so total servers, I think, I don't know how often we throw this number around, but I think it's around like 8 million servers.
That's insane.
Have been created. I mean, maybe it's even 10. I think it's around like 8. But since we had Mine Hut, that's kind of where those numbers are like now. And that was, 6-7 years ago and still climbing. But, monthly, well into the hundreds and hundreds of thousands like of uniques that join through our lobby.
Jeez.
And so, through our and the lobby, and this is kind of where things get fun and interesting, because you have all of these players that are hopping onto Mine Hut and they're looking for content. They're looking for PvP servers. They're looking for survival multiplayer servers, box servers, gen servers. Like, we have 16 different categories that you can feed into, parkour server, for instance, or meme. Like, we have a category called meme. It's like, okay, like, yeah, typically those servers are just like you spawn in and you're like, what is going on here? But, whatever. We see some really creative stuff. And it's really interesting because they're building their own communities, and they're all in Discord too, and then they're creating their own communities in Discord. And these developers and these builders and these moderators and admins, they're really like building their own like small businesses, because they'll create a server and then they'll have players come to it. They'll market it to get more players come through it, and we give them tools to do that. And then once they get them on their server, they're doing things. They're driving traffic for those players outside of giving them a good experience, right? They're like, hey, you can buy ranks or cosmetics or swag from our store, which you can visit here. So it's very interesting when you see all the different creators that are coming on and doing things like that.
Wow.
And we're even exploring those areas ourselves. And then the big blanket on top of all that is the access to that world is very valuable to big brands. So like Guardians of the Galaxy, if you were to hop on to Minehut right now, the new movie that's coming out on the 5th, I believe, we have a billboard campaign that is currently live. And so when you spawn in to Minehut, you see 2 billboards front and center that are like movie posters, right? And so, those impressions are extremely valuable to these big companies that they're like, oh my gosh, like, hey, over 3 or 4 weeks, we need 20 million impressions from you guys because we want people to get excited about going to see our movie. So we've worked with brands like Nickelodeon, Star Wars, Disney. I mean, all of like the big ones that you can even think of. Like, done toy companies. We even did like we worked with Wild 'N Out one time, which is amazing.
Really?
That was super fun. Yeah, they wanted to do an episode. Like Nick Cannon specifically was like, "Yo, we need to be in the metaverse," and so he came to us, and and there's like a ton of people involved at this point, right? For a project like that, and that turns into a whole broadcast portion, which is another section of our company, but. And so from our side, we built this world, which was basically Wild 'N Out Studios in Minecraft. Added all these cool texture packs to make it look and feel like Wild 'N Out, like the brand. And then we had little mini games that would unlock over 3 weeks. So like one new one every week that players could like hop on to, into that lobby and play. And then every week for 3 weeks, Nick Cannon and Justina Valentine would hop on into that world on Minecraft in their studio from New York, right?
That is wild.
And the first one I actually flew out, with our, with the guy that runs our broadcast team. And I remember I was just like hanging out with Nick and Justina, teaching them how to play Minecraft.
Dude,
because they had like, and they had been exposed to it from the standpoint of like, like Nick was like, yeah, my son plays all the time. Like, I love this. And I really want to be able to share this with him, which is cool.
Yeah.
But that's like on a phone or an iPad. And that's different than like sitting down at a computer on,
Oh yeah.
So that was a pretty cool experience. But yeah, I mean, they did whole episodes of Wild 'N Out for 3 weeks straight, where they brought in people and they would still do the rap games, and like they would roast each other.
That's so cool, dude.
We sort of created those areas in Minecraft to give them the space to do it digitally, I guess, which is very interesting, So
that is sick. I don't know if I ever knew that happened, that you did that. That's news to me. That is awesome. But I do know you set up a huge event, like a Fortnite event for Ninja in New York, right?
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That was wild. That we called that Samsung A37. That was called Samsung A37 was the location, and that was I think in Meatpacking in New York, New York City. And basically it was this combined event where Samsung wanted, all of a sudden you can play Fortnite on your phone, and what better phone to do that with than like a Galaxy Samsung,
yeah.
right? So they came out with a Galaxy skin on Fortnite, you know, and this is cool when you actually look at like the business behind like, you know, getting like real world brands into something like Fortnite. It's all very fascinating how they did this. So uh, they released that skin right before this event went live. Then they announced that this huge event is going on with Ninja, and he was insane. He was huge at the time. He was as big as he was, right? And at the same time, there was a K-pop group called Icon. I don't know if you've ever heard of Icon, but they're also a pretty big K-pop band, K-pop group, and so they were coming out, and you know there was all this marketing going behind that, and so you know essentially what happened is we flew out, we worked with everyone at the Samsung showroom. Really, I mean this is like it's a venue, but like you know you walk around, you know they have all this like super fancy like Samsung equipment and gear, and then they have this huge wall of just like 100 you know 30-inch TVs or monitors just straight up that are all like connected together to like showcasing these crazy visuals, right? And like a stadium up front. And what we were going to do is I think it was around 700 folks were going to come walk in, and we're all going to filter through and play Fortnite on 50 different like Samsung phone stations. And at the same time, like 6 of those devices needed to be plugged in directly into the broadcast, so that I don't even know like the technical like I don't know like actually what went on there, but they plugged directly into the venue so that we could get them on broadcast.
Oh wow!
This was also being live streamed, right? And then you know they were all anyone who played a game, they were appearing on the leaderboard, right? So then we were also the Epic team was there. They had 3 or 4 guys there that we were working with, because they're allowing us to tap into the API a bit and you know to get sort of that automation going. And then after they all played, whoever I think it was the top 12 or top 10 or something like that. Whoever was in the top 10 got to play with Ninja on stage.
That's pretty
at the
cool.
end of the tournament, right? And not only that, but Epic had taken one of their premium creative world builders at this time. That was sort of like a new concept where, you know, these folks were coming and building their own games in Fortnite and building their own maps. And so he had built and designed a game for this event specifically that was then going to drop live as soon as the event ended for everyone to play, after Ninja teamed up with these other folks, and they were on stage. And also the members of Icon came out, like 2 or 3 of the members, and they also were playing Fortnite on stage with Ninja and these other players. It was just wild. And then when that all wrapped up and the winners, you know, were announced and, you know, it was all fun, that's when Icon walked out and then put on a show for everybody and just like closed out the night with like 6 or 7 songs. And the squealing was real. I mean, whew, I mean, it was cool. That was a wild event, and you know, I can't believe I forgot about that. But yeah,
Was that your biggest one?
I can't believe you knew about that. That's funny.
Man, I've been following you for a while, brother. Ever since 2005.
Snap.
Is that your biggest event that you've done?
I don't know actually. I don't know. There have been a handful. It's such a blur, you know, when you look back, because that was certainly one of the big ones, but there were probably 3 or 4 like that.
I know you've been to a ton of like, what's the one that you went and met all the CS:GO players of C9? What was that?
Oh, that was PAX Prime.
PAX, yeah.
And when Cloud9 was at their prime,
dude,
which wasn't much, by the way.
No, but it was enough to make me
no
excited.
offense to them, I love those boys, but gosh, they never brought home a W, ever. Yeah, I was up at PAX Prime for work, and that was a big Minecraft event actually that we were doing.
Really?
with there's a big Minecraft influencer called Captain Sparkles. We worked with him a lot, and huge following. I think he still live streams to this day.
Jeez.
Really into supercars, that kind of guy. But yeah, he's super cool to work with. And we did like a meet and greet, and so we took over in front of the venue of PAX Prime, which they don't call it PAX Prime anymore. They call it PAX West, I believe now. There's a movie theater. I think it's a Regal, and there was this line of like 1,000 like parents and kids, just like all the way up 4 stories to the theater where he was at.
Holy crap!
To like come in, play Minecraft on the big screen, and then get to meet him, kind of thing. So that was pretty cool. We were doing a lot of things like that. But yeah, that specific event, that's kind of what was going down.
When do you think was?
I think that's actually. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That was pretty early on, I'd say, and I think at that event, I remember flying home thinking like, what? This feels like home. Like this is like, I'd like to be here, constantly. And what do I need to do to make that happen? And I think that's when I got into like making YouTube content after that. I was just the whole flight home. I couldn't sleep. I was just thinking like, okay, cool. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to start a channel. We're going to get super motivated, and we're going to start streaming. And, I'm just like, man, this is cool. But yeah.
When do you think was the turning point of like when gaming got cool? Growing up, being a closet gamer was kind of the thing to do, I guess, because no one really everyone thought WoW was lame, RuneScape was lame, Guild Wars was lame, but now it's like
not me.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like the ones that were playing it, we loved it. But if you were to tell someone like, "Hey, what are you doing on this Friday night?" I'm raiding with the boys, and they're gonna be like, "What? That sounds so stupid." And now it's like everyone's playing games. If you're not playing games, you're a loser now. It's just like, what a
it's
flip.
Cool.
It is cool.
People love like being a nerd. It's like cool to be a nerd.
Yeah.
But when did that change? Like anime now.
Or what was the catalyst for that change, do you think?
I think the blow up of gaming and esports in general was kind of where that happened. I mean, there's a lot that's happened, I think. But in that blow up, the conversation got so huge that all of a sudden it wasn't like taboo, right? It was like, oh man, like, what do you mean? And unfortunately, and it's sad to say, but unfortunately, I bet you a lot of that has to do with the big money that was like being showcased as gaming, esports, $20 million, like the Dota Worlds is going to have this huge pool of money for 5 players, or League of Legends and Worlds, and so that blow up was part of it. And then, also those brands really starting to build digital universes for people to connect more with. League of Legends or Riot Games does a really good job on this, and you can literally see them doing it now. They're even taking it further, right? Because they launch Worlds, right? This huge broadcast of the best players, right? I mean, only the very tippy top of the pyramid of people that play League of Legends even like are in that world, right? This is not where the money is.
Yeah.
But all of that viewership and all of that hype and how that then translates into I'm so and so and I play Jax because whatever reason, whatever story I have, and I connect with Jax as a character, or Jinx, or Vi, or whatever. And so they've created all of these characters, and they've marketed all of these characters to be interesting in that universe, right? And then almost to the point where people care about these digital characters, these characters from the game, as much as like, oh, my favorite movie is X.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll take that to the grave. And so, you get all this viewership on Worlds, and then boom, they dropped this huge update, all of these new skins, this whole new like narrative of whatever story they're telling. This is going to be a whole thing now forever on League of Legends. An example would be like when they dropped K-pop, the K-pop stars, pop stars. Worlds, they came out on stage. I think they had I forget what the artists were named, but they had very catchy music that kicked off the show, and then it was like K-pop. They had a couple of K-pop stars that had come out, like 4 different artists came out, and then all of a sudden, boom, those skins were live the next day. Everyone was in love with them, and like everyone's just buying it all up, right? So now you have people that are connecting with the things that they like, K-pop. Now that exists in the realm of League of Legends.
Yeah.
And then they get to associate that. Not only I love K-pop, I also love Ari. Now there's a K-pop Ari skin. Oh my god, I love playing Ari. I'm only ever going to use this skin.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love League of Legends. They built this world for me. And so,
it becomes
when
your
you look
identity.
in a way, like, and people, they should like lean into that, and they should be proud of that. But it's a big win for Riot because they make people feel good about connecting with their game. And then now they're going to the point of like, okay, cool. Now we're making Netflix series. Have you watched that, by the way? Arcane?
I actually haven't, but I heard it's amazing.
I was very skeptical going into it, and then I watched it, and yeah, it was like incredible. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Their production's good.
So like
their cinematic trailers are insane.
Very, very good. They have the best folks in the industry working on that product. So, anyways, so I know, we got a little bit in the weeds there with Riot, but I think the combination of esports gaming, this is really a thing, and then the companies that really leaned into it to help people like resonate and like let it be part of their identity as a person, and say, and like, by the way, it's okay, and let that spill out into the real world. And then now all of a sudden it's cool. I'm like, it's, over the past 10 years, because like you're right, like when we were in high school, I know most of my friends were like hiding the fact that they play World of Warcraft. And I have a friend, I'm not going to say his name, but I got him into World of Warcraft, and we were on a Boy Scout trip, actually.
Oh, I probably know the guy.
We were in Florida. Yeah, you do know the guy. And I told him, I was like, this game is amazing, and he just like sat there and acted like, cool, whatever. And then he went home after that trip and started playing that game, and he never told me for years. Like, I got him into the game because I was so obsessed with it, and then he was so, oh my gosh, because like nobody wanted to be found out.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted, it was like that. He didn't want to be that guy. So
dude, anyways, that stuff,
how that worked.
It was cool to be able to find, like with the skins in League, you find your identity like with the character, and you want a cool skin to portray who you are and kind of how you feel about the game. And then that's the beauty about an MMO. It's like I can relate everything in life to the gym and an MMO. That's just life to me.
Yeah, dude, go hit the squats, pump some iron, go home, drink a beer, and play some World of Warcraft or Guild Wars or whatever.
And there's Eric's day in the life.
There it is. That's it right there.
Most of these things are based on the West Coast, though, right? Like I know Epic's here in North Carolina, but like Blizzard, ArenaNet, tons of things are out on the West Coast.
I think that's true.
Why is that? Just money?
Almost everything in the. Truthfully, I don't know. Maybe the money. I mean, a lot of people are leaving because of that issue too. It's very expensive to start a business in a city like that. And but at least for me, when I think through my experiences, right, and I think about how I even got into it all, and like how I met everyone that I know in the industry now, I had to go to it.
Mm-hmm.
There was no world where I sat here, in Southern Pines and got access to that world. It just wasn't going to happen, And now, after COVID and working remote, right? So like I work completely remote now, and that's acceptable. And some companies did well with it, others did not. I think ours did very well with it. If anything, I'm working more now that so the company is getting more out of me, but then also, when I'm done with work, I can like walk downstairs and move on with my life. I don't have to drive an hour and a half
Yeah,
to go home.
that's
Right.
brutal.
So now that world's opened up, you don't necessarily have to be. And so things are a little bit different now, I would say. Like there maybe are opportunities that you could, you know, um, be a part of without necessarily having to be there to like cut your teeth, right? So like Twitch, for instance, like I know they're hiring remote. A lot of like Epic, a lot of these companies like, hey, cool, like as long as you are able to work remotely successfully, like doesn't matter where you are, and that's
Yeah.
cool. That definitely wasn't the case 8 years ago.
Oh, for
all.
sure. So you grew up here, you moved out to the West Coast to Hollywood, and you just moved back. I want to hear all about the differences. I've never been out to California to see what it's like, but of course you hear all of the stories about, like you said, the expensive part of it, the fast life, the attitudes and personalities of these people that are out there, and maybe that's just a stereotype. I'd love to hear your take on that. And we kind of talked about this a few weeks ago, but like, break down what that experience was like going out there and seeing just the cultural difference of East Coast versus West Coast.
Well, there's a lot. Lot to unravel there. The biggest thing is it's very diverse in LA, and so that's cool. You have a lot of different nationalities and different people from. I mean, everyone wants to go to LA, right? It's like, and so every day, it's crazy, like the different types, the amount of people that you see, and the different types of people that you see. So that's pretty cool. But when you have so many folks together, people sort of get head down, mission oriented, like everything's very fast, compared to like, you know, where, down here in downtown Southern Pines, I can walk down the street, everything's slow. I walk by somebody and there's going to be an interaction. There's going to be hey, how you doing? Like probably saw each other before even.
Yeah.
And maybe exchange small talk, and keep on going. And I love that personally. Like I get a lot of energy from that. And I maintained that quite a bit when I was in on the west coast. But it was rarely like reciprocated, right? And so sometimes I would like feel bad. I was like, oh man, like they're just a jerk, or you know what I mean? Like I like wave at someone and they would look at me like, what are you doing? Why are you waving at me? So there was a lot of that. And I don't know if that's like good or bad, because I have no idea like where their heads are at. Of course. But yeah, I don't know, just like the nature of being like, so congested in a city like that, you typically get like a less friendly vibe from the general. And this is not everybody, right? I know plenty of friendly people out there, but on the day to day, it's a pretty big difference. And so, everything there, the best way to describe it is like go, go, go. Like don't waste my time. Do I get any value out of you? Yes or no? Moving on. Like I got my day planned. Are you about to take away from that? Are you in the way? Whatever. And because everyone's, they're just going. And then here it's like, it's just so slow and it's like peaceful. And I love that, I don't know. That's that. I guess that's kind of like the biggest, difference, I would say.
Do you feel like you gained anything, like any positives from being out there of that? Like, hey, I've got my day planned. I'm about my business. Like, I'll cut off all the negativity. Was that something that maybe you learned out of that? Because I feel like, in a sense, people will cut out negativity and positivity if they're in that mindset you were talking about.
Um, did I learn? Let me think. Like,
Like, has anything
I
carried over
guess.
to now?
Right. I'm just trying to think. Like, um, yeah, I would say it's a bit humbling. Like, if I like, let's say I'm walking around and I'm in a great mood and I want to talk to everybody. Like, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up? Like, hey, how are you? Like, whatever. Um, you know, there's no reason why anyone else should have to reciprocate that back to me. Like, I shouldn't be offended, or like, do I have the right to get upset that I'm not getting that back? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's a bit of a strange like thing. And so I think probably what I learned was accepting that, just because I want to be friendly or because I want to, engage in that type of um, interaction more consistently than somebody that you would typically meet out there. Um, you know, doesn't necessarily mean like I should be expecting that in return. And so there's a bit of like humbleness, or I don't know. I had some humble. What's the phrase? Humble pie.
Humble pie. Have a
Yeah,
slice. Yeah.
because like I don't know. The easy thing to do, and I've caught myself doing this a lot, is like, man, everyone out here is an a-hole, you know, and which isn't true, you know, but it's the easy thing to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the truth is I don't really understand at large, like what's going on and why people are a little bit less engaging. I have to assume it's because a lot of things. Life is more hectic. Everyone's more stressed. Um, your average person is driving over an hour to get to and from work
That
every
is
day.
insane.
You know, it's expensive to live out there. Like all of those things start stacking up. And then it's like, okay, then, and I'm not saying that equals people respond this way socially,
Yeah.
but maybe it does. I don't know.
Play some role. I mean, I can
I don't know.
imagine that the stressors added up can just like in our day to day too. No matter where you live and what you do, stressors add up, and you get tense. Your fuse gets a little
Yeah,
bit shorter.
totally.
What
Yeah,
about
so
like
maybe that's what's going on.
observing some of your friends, other people out there and their tendencies, like maybe that were born out there and don't know any different? Like, did they think you were super weird? Just like, hey, this guy like won't stop talking. He won't stop saying hey, and like he held
Yeah,
the door for me. What's going on?
yeah. No, it's funny you say that. That's definitely a real thing. Um, I always felt like a bit of an outsider in LA from that standpoint. And sometimes that's fun, sometimes that's a little depressing,
Yeah.
But um, I would say, like, yeah, I think some of my friends that I've talked to, um, and how they think about things, and then they explain, my trusted friends, right, and we get into a deep conversation about these things. Um, they have very good reasons of why they think the way that they do, or why they may not want to engage in a conversation with somebody like I would.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's not that they're wrong, like, whatsoever, because they have a very good reason. And just in from my standpoint, it's like, oh well, like, I feel like I have this very good reason of to why I would want to have that conversation or interact with a bunch of people. Um, so I don't know. That's a tricky. That's a tricky question, you know. Um,
Do you
but
enjoy it more here?
I don't know. Absolutely, yeah. I think I went back recently. One of my best friends out there, he's always like, dude, just come stay with us, like, your family, like, and they take care of me, and it's amazing. So I if I get an opportunity and I go out there and I'll stay with them, I spent a week in the city, and it's like, oh yeah, like this is what it's like, and there's a bit of like motivation to it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because everyone there is like this, you know, go go go. They're doing stuff. They're talking about a project. This is down the road. They met this person. This might happen, um, and you know, there's a lot less of that here. You know, things are more calm and slow, and so you know, I kind of, though I do love being here, it's nice to be able to go back sometimes to actually get that little burst of like, oh yeah, this is what it's like being around people that are super driven and like grinding
Yeah.
and are being like successful in those ways. So it's nice to be able to go back and experience that. You know, do I want to move back there per se? Like, probably not. At least not right now. You know, um, I don't know. It'd be nice to start a family, get a house, get a dog, start a family. If I can work remote, start my own business. I don't know. Like, yeah, that'd be cool. But I would do that here, not
Yeah.
not in LA.
Huh. Yeah. I the only people I really know are like transplants, right? Kind of like you out there. They go out there. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people I feel like stay out there, and we see it on social media. We see them. It's that fast life that we crave, I guess. Like the followers, the cars, the clothes, the cool editing on your pictures, the whatever.
Oh man.
And I feel like,
oh that yeah.
No, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you got something to say. Go ahead. And I know it's gonna be good.
That is the sort of like starry-eyed LA, like, oh my god, I got to be part of that, right? Like, you know, when I moved out there and I had no job, I had no money, my parents were taking care of me. I was getting messages from people here. They're like, "Oh my god, you made it. You're doing it. You're killing it. You're crushing it. So proud of you. Like, so jealous." Like all of these things. And I'm sitting over here like, dude, I'm homeless and have no money. You know, thank God my parents are paying for my meals, you know?
Yeah.
like what are we talking about here? But, you know, I'm not posting a picture of me jobless with no money,
Of course.
with, you know, my parents supporting me on Instagram.
That's that humble pie, you know? That's a whole pie.
Yeah. You know? So I thought that was always really funny. And, you know, like we all sort of go through that. I think, you know, social media is really powerful from that standpoint, so it's a bit scary, right? Like even for me, like I'll hit Instagram and I'll open it up and I'll close it and I'll like start doing something and I was like, wait, and I pull my phone back up and I hit Instagram again and I look at exactly what I already looked at, and then I'm like, wait, what am I doing? I just looked at this. You know, it's
crazy?
like what did my brain just do? Like,
Yeah.
why did I even like go for that hit? Like, I don't know.
The dopamine, dude.
And so, you know, you see this like beautiful life. And you know, oh, look at the sunset, like LA, and you know, everyone's like, this is the best city on the ever. And there are reasons. I understand why people love it there. There's a lot to do. It's a lot food heaven at any time of the day. You know, there's nothing worse than being here
and
on a Sunday at 7.
Yep. Or being hungry past 9:30 anytime.
Oh my gosh! And your only option is McDonald's.
Yeah. Or
you know,
cookout,
because it's so yeah. Oh god, yeah. So yeah, you know, those things are amazing. A lot of events. It was strange. Like my ex-girlfriend, she invited me to this concert. You know, one of her favorite artists, and we went down. It was just this strange. I'm not like much of a concert goer, you know, but we drove like 20 minutes and we were at this venue and she was playing there. And then that next weekend it was like Blink 182's playing and Angels and Airwaves, and I'm like, what? And in my head I'm like, oh yeah, like we're really that close to just everything, you know. You know, I remember going to like the Star Wars Symphony,
nice.
where, you know, what's his name actually came out himself, and you know, played a bunch of, or you know, he composed a bunch of songs, or not composed, but I forget what you call it when they actually get out
Direct
there and
it.
stand up, direct it. And you're like, wow, what a treat. And that something like that would never happen here. You would have to fly out and make a huge thing about it. And so, I don't know. In a lot of ways, I look back, I'm like, maybe I didn't take advantage of a lot of those things, but also, I don't know, maybe not my style. Of just like go, event. But anyways, sorry, tangential.
No. So from that moment on the plane back from PAX Prime, you said you want to make a YouTube channel and create, and you've been doing that since then in different facets.
Yeah, we've sort of explored. I started streaming. Tough. I have so much respect for anyone that streams consistently.
Yeah,
that is a tough job, and you got to be presentable like
all the time,
the whole 7-8 hours, right? And then so that was tough. I had fun doing that, and then I started exploring. Okay, well maybe I'll start editing videos. I'll record my games that I play. The boys that my friends that I play with, they're a very funny group.
Oh yeah.
And so we always have really like funny moments. So I was like, cool, I start a channel based on that where I just play games with them and funny moments happen and I post them up. Was really inspired by a YouTuber called Video Game Donkey. His humor is basically making fun of everything he touches, which is hilarious. And so that was a creative outlet for me. Then I started exploring TikTok during COVID, which was an even better way to sort of take funny moments, short form content, put that on TikTok. And that was probably the most successful that any of my channels ever did. Just out of pure growth, and like, oh wow, like something's really happening here. I had a few clips go viral. And those
Sweet.
follower counts just started rolling in, and that was cool, a bit of a dopamine hit. I'm like, oh, all right, like 90 more in the last 5 minutes. Let's go. I'm like, holy
Sweet.
smokes. Like I've never experienced something like that. And then more recently, those things I kind of just let like fizzle out. And, I kind of keep the TikTok alive a little bit. I'll post something every once in a while, but I'm not like super motivated to keep it going. And then nowadays there's a channel that I have called the Gaming Meadow. And what I basically do is, it's this combination of like gaming and relaxation. And you've seen these before where like you have like an ambient channel and they just post nice, peaceful sounds that you can work, chill, eat, sleep / relax to.
Yeah.
Those sort of things. And in my head, I'm like, man, like some of these games that I play, they have wonderful game design, wonderful sound design. The audio is actually pretty good. It would be cool if people could appreciate that more, similar to how people appreciate actual places, in nature. So I started doing a combination of recording my own audio with a Zoom I have back here, and then also going to like, let's say I go to an area in World of Warcraft, like Zangar Marsh or something, or Skyrim. Right, I found a cool little cave in Skyrim with a waterfall and a stream, and it sounds nice. It's a little bit spooky, so I'll go in Skyrim and I'll record like 30 shots, panning slow, and then I'll take all that audio, I'll put it in, and then I'll take the audio that I've recorded, like water, other trickling sounds that are a little bit more high quality, and I'll mix those in with the game audio to something that I think sounds nice, and I'll upload it. And it's slowly growing. It's cool, but that's just like a little hobby now. I get the creative itch to make something for myself, and so that's what I've been doing.
I think that's how it starts.
And I think that's important. What's up?
I think that's how it starts, with doing it for yourself, like getting that fixed.
Totally. Absolutely. That's how it needs to be. Because then you determine, you go through those stages, right? You're like, cool, I'm doing this myself. Do I have what it takes? Do I like it? Right. And like, I've gone through that. We've all, like streaming. Cool.
Oh yeah.
And then I try it and I'm like, cool, this is great. Do I want to do this for the rest of my life? I like games, but I made a decision. I was like, no. And the reason was because when I game, I like playing with my friends.
Yeah.
And who am I to have that record live stream on 24/7 every time that we're all in here in Discord having a good time, right? And so what I realized, and I actually tried it for like 2 weeks, where I would just stream instead of game with the boys, and that was very lonely.
Yep.
I didn't like it at all. You know,
It feels more like a
I had
job.
to. It was a job. Nobody, like, people would come in and chat. I had to make new friends, and then, you know, my conversations would have to then be with the people that I was meeting, and, you know, the community I was building there on Twitch. And I was like, but I already have my community. These,
Yeah.
you know, I already got my boys. Like, you know, I just want to be there, you know. And so I made a decision. I said, cool, try the whole streaming thing. Not for me. Gonna push that on, move on, and I'm gonna keep playing with the boys. But the great part of this is, like, I can then keep exploring the funny moment stuff while playing with the boys.
Yep.
And so that turned into a much more scalable outlet for me, you know. So, you know, as anyone goes through that process, I guess, you know, you're sort of constantly like trying and like hunting for that balance of like, okay, this is too far this way, I need to be a little bit more here. You know, anyways.
Well, I saw the Master Chief in the river. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't put that one on the channel yet. I teased it on Instagram.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Up. Yeah, I'm real excited. That's actually a new exploration that I'm gonna do, where I'm actually like, instead of like bringing out like actual sounds into the game, I'm now gonna bring like actual game into actual sounds. So like,
That's cool.
a little Master Chief figure like hanging out on a waterfall, you know, like,
Yeah.
but like a real waterfall. It's like, what are we doing here? I'm just waiting for the moment where I'm out there and other people see what I'm doing and they're just like, what is going on here?
This guy?
Like,
Uh-oh.
and that's when I hand him a business card.
Yeah.
Yo, like follow, subscribe, like just like out in the mountains, like, yeah.
For anyone that wants to get started, like in what you're doing, or even someone that doesn't live on the West Coast and wants to move to California or LA or Hollywood or whatever, like, what is some advice you would give to them?
The biggest lesson that I ever learned actually started before I got into the industry, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to like package it yet. You know, we grew up a military family, so we moved a lot. And what happened is, I got very good, and I started having fun making friends very quickly, because the longer I took, the more miserable I'd be, because if I go a whole year without making a friend or whatever, without being in a place that I wanted socially, well, I'm already getting ready to move, so this was a dud, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then that translated into how I interact with people on the day to day. And you know, no matter like what it is that you want to do, or like in this space, specific, it doesn't even have to be in this space specifically, but like, you know, being friendly and being genuine is huge, because people see, right, you know, everyone has fairly good intuition. We're humans. Like, we when we see something, we're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, immediately. You're not really like fooling anyone, even if it looks like you're getting whatever. And so what I have found in my success is that as long as I'm genuine and friendly, and I make it easy for people to work with me, and I submit, right? Like, um I guess, you know, bend the knee or whatever in a lot of scenarios, if I think that it's going to lead to a more positive interaction, especially in the workplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that benefits everybody. At least as I understand things, Um, so if you can create as many of those positive opportunities with people, create good relationships and just be friendly with everyone, I think um, you can really like go anywhere. I know that sounds cheesy, but um, it's very strange. Like I think about it as like this like weird cheat code where um, when I have been nice to people that I trust, obviously like you can't just like open the world,
Yeah.
give everyone everything, but um, you don't have to worry about any of this back end work of like, okay, cool, here's my strategy, here's this, and like I need them for this or whatever. There's so much chaos there, um, versus like you just like approach the table with everyone that you're interacting with. You're genuine, you're nice, you're here for the team, right? No matter what. Um, and all of a sudden things just start happening for you. It's like really weird, because people enjoy working with you, and people start giving you opportunities. They just like start coming out of nowhere. It's crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
I think not enough people think about like, because I get it, like you go out there and you're on the grind, you're like hunting for those opportunities, um but I don't know, I guess I don't. It's a good question. I It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. Um, but
I know what you
I
mean.
don't know.
I mean, life's about
Yeah,
networking, right? But you can't do like this. I actually had an episode with a guy named Austin Gain about this. And it's not about networking to get ahead. It's about making friends. And that was
yeah.
his message. He's like, be the best friend you can possibly be.
See that's huge. I think why wouldn't you want to surround yourself with a bunch of people that you appreciate and that appreciate you
Exactly.
while you're climbing, right? And I think you look at like I've been at Super League for a very long time, which is a bit abnormal, but that the leadership team there takes care of me, and I have in my own ways over the years um, taken care of them and the company and the culture that like we've built, um, and like you could say that, oh whatever, I'm just like whipped and I'm like a peon,
But that's not the
but
case.
the
That's not the case.
reality is like there's been this like nice mutual um relationship that just feels really good, and that's why I feel okay just like, okay. And I know if I was to leave and go to a different company, it's like starting from scratch,
Mm-hmm.
right? Starting from scratch, um and trying to rebuild all of that trust and all of that positivity, where I have no idea where anyone is or where their heads are at or what their goals or objectives are. And that, on one hand, I know that's like what growth looks like. If I'm going to grow, like that's probably the direction that needs to happen. um but I don't know, like the world that I've ended up with at the company, and
Hmm.
long term, and with the people that I've met over the years, the friends that I've made, it feels really good, so. And maybe that's just kind of a lazy bum, like I don't know.
Well,
But
it should be fulfilling in many different
yeah,
ways, other than just financially.
yeah, exactly. Because I don't know, like of course, like yeah, if I wanted to go chase money, if I wanted to be making crazy amount of money, I could. I The goal would have been every 2 years, go to another company, go to
Mhm.
another company, go to another company, keep building, keep growing. um and to some people that's what success looks like. I think personally, I kind of pursued a more peaceful like route,
Yeah.
I guess, where I feel happy, I'm where I want to be, I'm with my family, I'm with my friends, and I feel good.
Yeah. I feel like you took it
Okay.
on like vertically going through the company rather than horizontally. Well, maybe like a diagonal line, right? Of like you go to the next company after 2 years, you get slightly more experience, you move up a little bit. When this, you just like, oh, I'm just gonna go straight up. And there goes my camera out of focus. Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
All
you
right.
put your finger. That's what you get for.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is
Do this.
awkward. You gotta be kidding me, dude.
That's hilarious, man.
You gotta be kidding me.
I mean, your hand's really in focus, when you put it up there like that.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
nice.
cool.
Well, in the meantime, last few questions. I'm gonna rapid fire some questions for you. All right, these are just off the
Okay,
top.
great.
All
Cool.
right, you've been working out hard recently. You've been killing it. What has been your biggest takeaway, or, yeah, I guess takeaway works from working out into your daily life? And this camera's actually pissing
One
me off. What do I need to do? Make it look a moose? Like, what do I need to do here?
Oh, here, like kind of like split the difference between what you were doing up close. Yeah, and
Right
just
here?
like hold that. And just hold it. Or completely cover up your camera, actually. Excuse me. Yeah, try that. Even more so. There you go. Now come back fast.
This is bogus, dude. I wish I could make this a
Oh my
blooper.
gosh. That's unfortunately. Definitely.
You gotta be kidding. All right. Well, anyways, all right. Yeah. Biggest
Yeah.
takeaway from working out. And how long you been doing it for?
So I've been working out for, I guess it's not quite a year, maybe 11 months now.
Sorry, I'm gonna try to do this while you're talking.
Oh, you're good, man. Yeah, maybe 11 months now. And there it is. Yeah, he's back. He's back. So yeah, I been working out for about 11 months, and my dad got me started on starting strength.
Nice.
Specifically. And initially I was like, oh, this is like intimidating. You're picking up all this weight. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, definitely don't want to like go to the gym and embarrass myself. And all of those things go through your mind. And he's got a gym in his basement. He's pretty much got everything there. But yeah, it was pretty incredible. Like, he's like, all right, cool. We're just gonna eat protein, and you're gonna eat as much as you can, and we're gonna bulk, and you're just gonna get strong. And I was like, all right, cool. So he helped me start like a program, doing the Big Four.
Mm-hmm.
And I I love how simple it is.
Yep.
And how fast you start to see results. It's insane.
Those newbie games are serious, dude.
Oh yeah, when you like exactly, that's newbie gains. Because you go in there and every day is a new PR for 4 months, or however everyone's a little bit different, right? And I remember him being like, yeah, well, it was like, maybe I was like deadlifting 225. He's like, man, before long, it's going to be 315. And I remember thinking like,
no way.
I don't know, man. Like, whatever. Like, I don't think so. Like, I don't think I need to be lifting that much weight. Like, you don't even know how to think about that.
Yeah.
And then, before long, you're like, months later, after you added weight every single workout, it's like, okay, like 315 happened. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then you just keep going, and you're just like, wow, what the heck? Like, this feels pretty good,
Yeah.
And I always thought too, like growing up, being near 200 pounds, I'm like, that would be severely overweight. That's disgusting. Like, that's how I always thought about it, because I've always been around like 170 or something like that, 175. And then all of a sudden, I'm as strong as I've ever been. I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm 203 pounds.
Don't worry about the weight
or whatever. And I'm like, wait, this is weird.
Yep.
It's kind of, I don't understand this, so that has been a fascinating experience. And since then I've like more recently this last month I started cutting. I'm not just packing in as much protein, but I'm still like working out consistently. So it's also interesting to now start to see, okay, you lose the weight pretty fast, if you don't stay consistent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's been a cool experience, and I think to answer your question, like, it's definitely helped, like, with confidence, energy, and, like my day to day. Like, I'd say, like, I still sleep in. And I just say I'm just recovering, man.
Yeah.
Had a big lift. Like that's just my body recovering. But so I'm still a little bit lazy from that standpoint, but I don't know, it just feels good. Um
That's
and
awesome.
I think the goal for me is to like maintain this for the rest of my life. Not just like, oh, I'm in shape and like call it quits. It's like, okay, cool. How can I make sure that I stay in the shape that I'm in right now ish
Yeah.
for the next like 60, 70 years, like that would be amazing.
For sure.
Um,
A lot of benefits to it.
Cause
That's awesome.
then you see your parents growing up and I'm like, man, like I wish my parents, like my dad's in great shape and I'm like getting on my mom's case now. And I'm like, Mom, you need to start working out. Like I need you to start taking care of yourself because, now that we're older, you look at your parents, you're like, dude, like I need you to live as long as possible.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
Mom? Like so anyways.
That's cool. I'm glad to see you
Yeah.
doing that. It's awesome to see just everyone. It's becoming like kind of like what gaming is now. It's becoming more of like a chasing a physique or aesthetic or a weight in the gym is becoming a lot more mainstream now, which is pretty cool. It has its ups and its downs, of course, its pros and its cons, but it's nice to see people chasing something worthwhile for their body and taking care of their physical health, which takes care of the rest of your health for the most part.
Totally.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Next question. Favorite Keanu Reeves movie because you had hair that made you look almost identical to Keanu Reeves. My mom actually thought you were him at Courtney's wedding.
No way. She was like,
She's like, that guy was like,
wait,
Keanu, what?
Courtney? That's too funny. I got that a lot. To this day, I still get that. Even with the short hair, believe it or not. Which I don't understand, but whatever. So our office is right next to Lionsgate in Santa Monica, and they have a coffee shop there called Tiato, and so I'd be in there all the time. And you know, he actually obviously he works with Lionsgate,
Yeah.
and so he would be in there from time to time, and so I would walk in there, and all of a sudden people were staring at me, and at first I don't understand why.
No,
When my hair was long too, got the beard, I got the, and like people would think that I'm like legit, like Keanu Reeves, like walking in. It was like pretty funny. Yeah, in terms of favorite movie, obviously John Wick, man.
Have you seen the new one?
I haven't seen the new one.
Neither have I. I heard
good?
it's amazing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't. I actually didn't even watch the third one. The one with the dogs.
I don't know if I have actually either.
Yeah, but no, they're all good. Everyone that I know that loves Keanu Reeves loves those movies. Says they're amazing. So,
all right, last one. You ready? Favorite Cloud9 player of that 2015 to 2016 glory days of CS:GO.
That's a tough one because I love them all, but Sean Garris.
Really?
Probably. Yeah, shot caller, less like in the light compared to everyone else.
He's got like a bioengineering degree or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what it was about. I think maybe it was like his leadership, his IGL, that was cool to me. So he kept those boys together. But yeah, I really don't know why Sean Garris, but it just always was Sean Garris. I mean, he's really good. He's really freaking smart. And I know he kind of like, he was like one of the first to like drop out of that, compared to the rest. But obviously Skadoodle, I was a big fan too, because I liked to op myself. So I actually have an op Asimov in CSGO to this day with a Skadoodle sticker on. I don't even play CSGO anymore, but I still have this gun. And the gun is called Flick of the Flick.
I love it
because his op Asimov is called Flick of the Wrist.
I love it
with a Skadoodle sticker. So I was like, all right, totally like copycat it. But anyways, yeah.
Dude,
so
interesting. Okay,
Scott second.
Okay, yeah. Those guys were awesome. That was like the pure American like esport.
I know
it couldn't have been any better.
So good. When you would go to events like DreamHack or whatever, and like I still have my Atomic Blue Cloud9 shirt.
that's
like
sweet.
the original before they had, they didn't have jerseys back then. So they wore like
The t-shirt?
t-shirts like this
Yeah.
with a Cloud9 logo on it. And they were just obnoxiously like blue. Kind of like, they called it atomic blue. And I still have mine, but I don't really. I kind of fit in it, but I look weird. I look like I'm trying to be swole, so I don't wear it.
Such medium.
It's a little embarrassing, but yeah, dude, I'm gonna have that. One day I'll put that on in like class and put it on my wall or something like that.
Dude, that's what I have.
But yeah,
I've got my stuff
you
on
have
like
one
a
of those?
little I guess like hanger type deal over here of some of my like favorite, like my Gilwars 2 jersey and just some random stuff.
Oh yeah, dude.
Gotta
You gotta hold on to that, man.
Yep.
It's so fun to go just look back and be like, oh yeah, like man, this was awesome back in the day. Like good conversation starters too.
Oh yeah.
What was I gonna say? At those events, they felt like football games.
Really?
When Cloud9 was playing back then, they had this strange way of like rallying everyone around, like the crowd, to like, because they wouldn't even like do that great, and then they'd always be behind, and then they would like start coming back, and like, oh my gosh, like the energy would be insane. Like people believed. I mean, now nobody believes anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, and I had been to some events with the League of Legends Cloud9 team. Never felt that energy, literally ever. But with that CS:GO crew, that CS:GO team,
well, dude,
oh my gosh, dude,
you had Freakazoid, who was just this like bro, just flex.
Did you think I was gonna say Freakazoid?
No, I thought you were gonna say nothing. Shout out you, nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna DM you here soon to get on Instagram and get you on here, and we're gonna play golf. But
oh yeah, dude, nothing is cool.
You're a golfer too, right?
Super cool guy. I'm a golfer. Yeah, Rob got me in. Well, he didn't get me into it. He got me back into it.
Gotcha. But, we need to play soon, and we need to get nothing down to play golf with us, because he's in that like.
That'd be amazing. Is he like really good? Does he play?
Yeah, he's in that like golf with gamers or gaming golfers.
No way.
Something. I'll. Have you seen that on Instagram?
No.
I'll send it to you. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta get him down here.
Yeah, dude. Nothing would be fun to play with.
So cool.
Yeah, I had a few conversations with him, just like small talk, you know what I mean? Because like I'm like, oh my god, this is nothing, and like small talk and trying to be cool, and he's like, who's this random guy? Like,
just Jordan Gilbert,
but like, but polite, you know what I mean? So I always had good experiences with him. Summit, my absolute favorite. He was like the first person that
really
like
Summit
1G back in the day. He he wouldn't even pull it. He had these like little white turtle beaches, and like he was like in his living room playing like War Z or something like that, and like had a small following. But I love the fact that anytime somebody said anything, he would read it, and he'd be like, "What's up, brother? Thank you so." You know what I mean? He was just like here. He was like one of the first streamers that I personally was like, dude, this guy, like, actually, I sit here and talk to him all night, and he's like talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, this is cool. Like, I'm feeling like simping for Summit right now.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yo, here's $5, my bro. Like,
yeah.
And I don't know. I always felt that energy from him. Even after he blew up, he still kind of carried that on, which I had so much respect for. So
I do see that. And streaming's difficult, like you said. I remember when I tried picking that up, playing RuneScape, and like we built it up a good bit after streaming for like 3 or 4 months very consistently, but it killed the game. Like it killed having fun, like you said. You gotta like have your persona, and not like be yourself, but also at the same time be a different person on camera. Like you have to be that same person like all the time. It is
totally. God forbid that's not who you really are, right? Like,
yeah.
Whew, then that's really that's a lot of work at that point.
Well, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate you jumping on this so much.
Yeah, dude, it's an honor. Thank you for even like asking. You know?
Yeah, of course.
It's exciting.
So how can people find you and follow you and check out the Meadow?
Ooh, youtube.com/thegamingmeadow.
Cool.
And on Instagram, Eric.Liffrig.
Cool.
And I'm sure we can put a little link or something like that.
Everything will be in the description. I got you.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
And yeah, just shoot me a message, I guess. Always happy to talk if anyone has questions about getting started, or I know we didn't talk too much on that, but
Well,
it's
guess we
always
don't
fun.
again.
Like I love like hearing people getting excited about something they're gonna really like go for.
Yeah.
In games or in content creation.
But you got excited
That
for me
is.
about this.
I did. I
Yeah.
know, and we had like a 2-hour conversation. It was awesome. I had
Yeah.
so much fun
Yeah, me too.
because it's just so fascinating. Just to talk about that whole experience of like what you're gonna go through and like
Yeah.
what I don't know. I love talking about that stuff. So
Well, dude, I appreciate you. I will see you probably sooner than later at
yeah,
Swank.
dude. See you tomorrow at Swank, like 10 a.m. or something. Like
Sounds good, dude. Well, thanks so much, man. I will catch up with you
yeah.
soon.
Thanks, Chris.